Hello, my name is Andy Hatcher, and I'm going to go the purely discussive route in our crew discussion here. So, a little background about the K-5 school that I've been serving most of my practicum hours at. It's a K-5 school in San Antonio in the Northside Independent School District. And in all of the data dives we've had to do and looking up test scores and whatnot, the school consistently outscores both the district and the state by just a little bit pretty much across the board. In my time I've spent there, it's a very stable, very high achieving K-5. And of course, it has a really good library, very solid library. I have a fantastic mentor. I've learned so much from her. And I've told her many times, if I end up at a school like this, I would be so lucky. I mean, it's a very great place to be for both the students and all stakeholders. So I know her library is in good shape. And I asked her, okay, so if you had to say where some weeding might need to occur, where would you look, or where should I start to look? She said, the biography section. I said, okay. So I started to look at her biography catalog. All right, in all, 530 titles in the biography catalog, going all the way from Hank Aaron to Mark Zuckerberg, okay? So those 530 books represent 4% of the entire catalog collection, okay? And 453 of them, of the 530, have been checked out this year, accounting for 2.93, almost 3% of all checkouts, and 24 have been checked out in the last month, okay? Then I asked her what her criteria would be for weeding. Where would she start? And she said, okay, anything that hasn't circulated in the last 5 years, so no checkouts in the last 5 years, and anything that might be 6 or 7 years old. Okay, that's where she would start first. So I started looking up within those 530 what those numbers would be. Okay, so of the 530, 63 titles had not circulated in the last 5 years, and 354, so over half, were 6+ years old. Okay. I started looking at some of the titles, some of the people these books were about. Johnny Appleseed has not been checked out. Okay. Tony Romo, Tony Parker, kind of surprising. They're athletes who played for Texas teams. Then I started thinking they might be a little old for the K-5. I mean, maybe some fifth graders know who they are, but their playing days were further in the past, and maybe, the majority of K-5 students were unfamiliar. Steve Jobs also, like maybe they're not familiar with him, right? They don't have iPads or iPhones maybe. Now, books that did surprise me have not been checked out. Justin Bieber books, a couple of them had not been. Maybe he's getting too old for the K-5 population, I don't know. That said, I did have a student ask me to help her find a Miley Cyrus book one day when I was there, so maybe Miley's still cool and Justin's not, I don't know. A very limited sample size. Cesar Chavez, Michelle Obama, Abraham Lincoln books had not been checked out. But I have a theory about that I'll get back to later. Okay, so then I started to cross-reference these 63 books that had not been checked out and the 354 that were 6+ years old. I started, comparing PDF file to PDF file. And of the first 20 titles I checked, 15 of the 63 that had not been checked out were 6+ years old. So 75% of the first 20 books I looked at were 6+ years old, okay? So my theory about that is that in this age where we're using computers to do research, maybe a paper copy of a biography is just not it's not sought after. You don't need it to do your research for the project. And so looking at our textbook and things to keep in mind when you're weeding and you're applying these acronyms, the relevancy, and then can you find the book elsewhere? Or can you find the information elsewhere? So I think my mentor would say, okay, her biography collection could be updated, some more recent titles, more in vogue people. But I'm also guessing that some of this information, some of this biographical information could be found on a computer, could be found in a database. So when students are doing research on a biography or on a person, on a living person, they're not going to the shelf, they're going to the computer. That's just an inference, that's a guess. In terms of some of the other variables, these books are not being checked out, so I don't think they're tattered. I don't think they're falling apart. It's more of maybe keeping the collection a little more relevant, but also maybe those needs are being met, those biographical research needs are being met by a database instead of the bookshelf. That's what I came up with. Hope some of that was interesting. Thanks for all the information you all have been sharing. I'm looking forward to responding. Okay. Have a good weekend. Bye.